Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon to folks out on the East Coast. I am Todd Obert, President and CEO of Productive Corporation. Joined here alongside me in the station somewhere, I think if you zoom in you can find him, is Pete Greco, our VP of Sales and Technology. It's kind of like Where's Waldo, but for the new central station for cloud security. But in this case, it's Where's Pete. Well, he's in the station. He's getting ready to run Sophos Central, but not quite yet. We need to meet Productive in 1 minute. Then we'll take a look at what is Sophos Central. It's Sophos Cloud is what it was originally called. It's really the central admin. It's what everything will be going through with Sophos. It's their platform, central management, central deployment, all this. A lot of it's there, and more is coming. It's not all completely there. So Pete will take you through that, some of the nuances, and give you an overview of the product. But you know, if you've joined our broadcasts in the past, we are all about content and less about fluff. So I say, let's giddy up and meet Productive in 1 minute or less. So who is Productive Corporation? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Productive is a company that provides security solutions for mid-sized companies. We offer specialized expertise around licensing and helping you with technical questions, helping you better understand your security posture, kind of letting you know what is happening relative to the solution framework, how things need to be secured, hardened, and assessed. To that end, we do security assessments. We do penetration tests. We do a full VA. We also config and optimize gateway and endpoint products. We encrypt and help you get encryption set up. We don't encrypt anything, I guess, technically, but work all along that security infrastructure continuum to try to help you. We also produce content like this that we're doing on the web right now, and all of that and other stuff is on productivecorp.com/content, as well as our YouTube channel. The bottom line is we have the resources to help you, whether it's implementation, assessment, security posture. We can help. Help at productivecorp.com, 800-726-4099. Let us know how we can help you. One of the ways that we help, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, is putting on content like this. And today we're going to talk about Sophos Central, and the man with the plan who is going to do that is Pete Greco. Pete is our VP of Sales and Technology. He has helped literally thousands of customers with their security posture and is an area expert in endpoint and gateway. Is pretty excited to talk to you about Sophos Central today, and you know, has been racing all the way through the station to get to his terminal. I believe he is here from Grand Central and ready to roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, give a warm virtual round of applause for Mr. Pete Greco. Pete?
All right, thanks so much, and thanks everybody for hopping on with us today. Appreciate your time. We are going to keep this puppy rolling. So everybody, I hope, knows what they came to see. We're going to be talking about Sophos Central with their new Synchronized Security. I guess at this point, maybe it's not brand new, right, Todd? It's been out for a little bit of time here.
And it's newer, and the new OS release, which has really improved some features and functionalities of the Synchronized Security.
Yeah, absolutely. And glacially speaking, it's like right now, right? So I guess it depends on your relevance factor there. So a lot of different kinds of protections here, right? Most of the folks that we work with are talking about Windows and Linux, seeing a lot more Macs. As of really kind of the past year and a half, we're running into some environments that are almost 100% Mac, and some good-sized environments too. So pretty surprising. And then obviously we see a ton of iOS and Android users out there who are running into all sorts of issues because they're trying to work with their data in all sorts of ways. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of the ways you can get some additional visibility and protection on those areas. Focusing on the Sophos Central, there's really two components right to the synchronized security aspect, and this slide even is just a little bit out of date with some of the features because now the wireless security can actually be handled either on the UTM or managed from the Sophos cloud product, right? Encryption has been added in there. I'll give you a quick look at some of those settings. You can do some email from the Sophos Central console, which is cool. You can also do that at the gateway, depending on what you want to do. You can do email encryption and email archiving in the cloud, which is great for folks who are running an on-prem solution, but really great for the folks like us who are doing Office 365, right, or maybe a Google Apps. We're talking to a lot of folks who are making the move to some kind of cloud-based email, and a lot of them doing it with O365. Right, so a lot of great protections there. Was actually just talking to one of the managers at Sophos yesterday, and he was telling me that they're getting a lot of positive feedback on folks managing the wireless APs from the Sophos Central console. We do not have one of those APs yet, but we're going to get one for sure. And it sounds like a lot of end users are really digging that. We are managing ours from the Sophos UTM, and a lot of the implementations that we've done over the past few years, really managing it from the UTM was the only option. You can still do it from there. You can now do it from Sophos Central if you're not a UTM user. Or if maybe you've got a remote location or a small branch, you might find it easier to throw out a red device, which is just a little attachment that connects back to your firewall, and then a wireless AP that you manage through the cloud gives you a lot of capabilities to do that. So we're going to talk about some of those features, and I'll give you a real nice look. Now, before we get this rolling, I just thought this was interesting. I thought you guys might find it interesting as well. As I was kind of reading some articles this morning, I stumbled upon this website, Zerodium, I believe is how it's pronounced. And these guys are a research group, and they sell this research back to businesses. But they're basically paying for exploits. And so the way that my mind always thinks is, right, you're paying this much for Apple iOS exploits, $200 grand for Android exploits, right? Flash player with sandbox escape up to $100 grand, right? So how many of these folks are figuring out, I'm finding these exploits, I can sell them to Zerodium, or I can sell them to a black hat for even more? I'm guessing if these guys are willing to pay 1.5 million or up to 1.5 million, there's probably a lot of folks out there willing to pay a lot more, right? And that's what we're trying to help everybody defend against, and trying to counsel with all of our customers on, to continue to up their game, because these kinds of things are happening. So let's take a look at Sophos Central. All I've done so far is log in. So this is the main dashboard as you see it. You can see I've got some graphs here. I've got a medium alert. Unfortunately, everybody, I accidentally cleared this. I was gonna show it to you, obviously, but I just get in such a habit of doing what I'm supposed to be doing that I cleared it. So we'll see this go away here shortly. Now that I've cleared that thread, I can still drill into the reports though and see what's going on. I can hop into the logs and the reports. I can see web stats. I can see all the stuff that I'm doing. Some of the new enhancements here, I think I mentioned earlier, email security coming into the Sophos Central. So I've just enabled that. I actually haven't gone in and set up everything and got this rolling. Just got my trial going, so that'll be something that we'll dive very deep into, maybe in a future webinar. I can see some more information from my mailbox area. Here's where I can start adding my users, sync them up with my AD, right? I can see all the machines that I'm managing, the servers that I'm managing, and as I'm looking at this stuff, I can drill into them to get additional information and see what's going on. Here's my machine right here. You can see the last logged in user. Now, nobody else is logging into my machine, but if they did, I'd be able to see the different folks that are logging in. You can see I'm monitoring my peripherals, but I'm not blocking anything, so everything's getting allowed for me, right? I'm not using the web gateway, so no information there. My tamper protection is on. One of the cool things that I like about Sophos is I can turn on tamper protection for everybody, but then I can get an individual tamper protection code for each individual user. So if I've got somebody who's actually out in the field and we need to help them maybe open a port up temporarily for whatever reason, or whitelist something, or we're trying to troubleshoot or whatever, I can unlock their Sophos. I can step them through this. Maybe I'm not able to remote their box because they're not online or whatever. So I can give them this temporary password. Once we're done doing whatever it is we need to do, then we can just generate a new password and they're locked down. I haven't given them any more information for any other machine other than the one they're directly on, and I can get them back into a safe and protected state pretty quickly. So I really like that. Pretty handy. I can launch a scan from here. I can see all of my events, see that status, all the things that are on and running, and then which policies apply to this machine or this end user, depending on if I'm looking at the box or I'm looking at the user. So you can see I'm in this admin workstation group. If I saw some information here that I needed to maybe open something up or that I wanted to come back and block, I can now just start driving right into that policy. I can also get into there by clicking on the policies. It's going to take me to the same area. Now, because I clicked on that, I'm already into editing this policy. You can see which folks it's enabled on, see what some of my settings are, and we have the relatively new product called Intercept X installed as well. So that adds some nice anti-malware or malware remediation capabilities, including some new capabilities to really defeat ransomware, right? So that adds a lot of functionality and features in here. I've got a scheduled scan set up to go. I've got some exclusions. Now, I don't have any exclusions that just apply to this group, but if I click on my global scanning exclusions, you can see the things that I've set up for our entire environment that I call in every policy. Now, if I had some exclusions just for the admin team here, then I could add those here, and that would only apply to this policy. Let's actually hop out to our end user group so that I can show you some of the lockdowns that we're actually doing. So under peripheral control, you can see what we've got set up here. We're allowing some Bluetooth, removable storage, read-only, block, 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 block bridge for wireless. That's one of my favorite settings. Preventing that end user who's sitting in a Starbucks or a Caribou or whatever it might be from having somebody bridge their wireless and coming back into your network through your VPN. Right, so it gives you a lot of capabilities there. Very easy to set this up. We can also create some exceptions. So maybe you're going to block thumb drives, but you do have some encrypted thumb drives that you're going to allow to be used. Or maybe it's just your admin stick. You want to be able to plug into any box no matter who's logged in, right? You can whitelist that and add that here. Application control, super easy to set up. I like the way they're showing you here what you've already got blocked so you can see at a glance what categories you're doing. I can go into my big list here and start adding more. And one of the things that I hadn't noticed until recently, they actually give you a nice little search bar here so you can start looking for applications based on name or based on a category, and now I can see the different things that contain this word, and I could come in here and say, you know what, we're actually wanting to use IE, but nothing older than version 11, right? We want to keep that security up to date. I want to make sure that I'm not missing out on getting patches out for 9 or 10 that I'm not aware of, so I can basically suppress those or prevent them from getting installed in the future. The other thing that I can always check is new applications added to this category by Sophos in the future. One of my favorite things to block here, even if you don't want to use application control, why not block all this garbage? That's my attitude. If you really feel like the Kiwi toolbar is adding value or the MSN Bing toolbar is adding value, hey, whitelist away and slow down that browser, but I like to block all that stuff. And then anything else that's getting added. So very easy to set that up and get control of. We've also got the ability to do some light management on mobile devices. So we can come in here and do some different things. Now, all of our folks own their own devices, so we're not going to block the App Store or the camera or any of this stuff. So I have these features turned off. But if you own the device, you can start really getting some control over those phones. The email settings here allow you to push out Exchange settings to the phones. Office 365 support is coming. It's not out yet, so we have that off. One of the things that I do really like, though, is the ability to push out our Wi-Fi password. So we can get them on the Wi-Fi without actually giving them the passcode, so that they can't accidentally give it out to guests or partners, and then allowing them to get on the corporate environment. Instead, they'll be relegated to the guest network, right? And then I can do some other settings. So if they're rooting or jailbreaking that phone, or if they get compromised and someone's able to figure out how to root or jailbreak that phone, they're going to get disconnected and get all their settings removed from the phone. I can also do some lock, remote lock, and wipe and this kind of stuff, enforce a password, and some really neat features there. From the web control side, this is web content filter, and it's following the box around. So if somebody leaves the office and goes to a client, goes to the coffee shop, goes home, whatever, they're going to have all the same content filtering that they had back at the office. And if they're going to blocked websites or going to malicious websites or this kind of stuff, you're going to get those reports in real time, even if they don't VPN back in, even if they don't come back to the office for weeks and weeks and weeks, or months and months and months, whatever it might be. Very easy to set this up and configure. I find it to be really a relative no-brainer as far as understanding what all of these things are. You might still want to strategize with our service personnel to get some advice on how to set some of these settings, create some whitelist, and get this thing rolling in a pretty thorough way. If you've already been doing web content filter somewhere, pretty easy to take the settings that you've already created and leverage them here for a quick startup, and that's something we can help you with as well. As I get into some of these areas, right, you see I've got it set to let me specify. I could block all of these in one big chunk, or set them all to warn, or set them all to allow. But if I do let me specify, then I can come in here and custom configure these. You can see I've got all these set to allow or block, but I can also choose the warn setting to get this set up really in a way that benefits us. We do a lot with video, so we've got that set to allow, and we obviously do a ton with PDFs like a lot of folks do. And so we have that set to allow, but the typical employee here getting a command file, not going to be additive to the business, right? Or a Java archive or a Windows installer. Outside of the tech team, most folks should never be getting an executable sent to them here. So we're going to block that stuff right off the bat. Acceptable web usage. This is your standard browsing, right? We've got business relevant site categories, so we've got that set to allow. Excessive bandwidth, right? Let me specify, so on and so forth. So a lot of great stuff here that you can take advantage of. And then we've created some global whitelists. So things that are maybe in incorrect category, or they are in a correct category, but we still need to access them for whatever legitimate reason we have, right? We can label them. And so what I've done is set up a bunch of websites that I've labeled as productive content. And so any new sites now I add into that, because I've called this tag, then it's going to get allowed for the groups that I've called them in. And then I've got some sites that are in an allowed group, but we don't want people to have access to, so we've been able to block them, right? So if I give it a label as blocked, it's going to be blocked automatically for everybody. I can set time, so I can give folks some additional information and capability here. Can manage my device encryption here, so if you're running BitLocker, we can now manage keys and logging in and password resets right from the Sophos Central, so pretty slick. Let's hop back up to the top and talk a little bit more about the Intercept X. Now that's an add-on. You want to be looking at the endpoint advanced with Intercept X to get that capability. So if we have any Sophos Central users on, who don't have this capability, talk to your account exec, and they can help you get a trial rolling and get this going. That adds
now,
a couple
people have been chatting a lot about Intercept X, right, and the ability to roll back if you do get attacked. And we have the map on this too. We can show them, right? Or
I don't have it handy, but yes, we do, that we can send out to folks, and we can take them through. And a couple of the Sophos engineers have a nice little thread environment where we can give you a pretty slick demo. We're actually in the process of building one for us to do a similar thing, where you can really kind of see how this works in real time. And we could probably throw a thread in our production environment and be fairly safe, but not a good business practice to do. Right? But
I've just lost the rest of my hair.
Exactly. Yeah, me too. Right. And so this is looking for the cryptor threats, right? The non-viral malware that is spreading around. A lot of the things that we're seeing that Zerodium is buying from you, right? A lot of this stuff is not viral or virus related. Some of it may contain a virus that might be part of the payload, but it's not going to trigger an AV. And one of the most concerning things that we encounter, Todd, is when we talk to folks that have gone with a kind of a really low cost or a freemium type solution, and what the thing that they're having a hard time understanding is all they're really getting is antivirus. And that's great for stopping viruses, but there's so many more things out there that now they're completely not protected against, and where they're kind of fooling themselves a little bit is their AV doesn't trigger anything. Yeah, no, you didn't get a virus today, so nothing went off. Does not mean that you're not completely impacted with malware or acting as a zombie farm or a botnet to be a pawn in in a hacker's big game to bring somebody else down, right? And so that's where this kind of protection, while it's still relatively new, by this time next year, this is going to be just the base level of what folks are going to feel like they need. So the CryptoGuard is defending against that stuff. It also gives you the capability to roll back, and it's using their own patented technology. So what it's not doing is just relying on the Windows snapshot, because where a lot of the ransomware writers have gotten smart is either blowing away the snaps or also encrypting them so that shadow copy is completely useless. Or I think it was Cryptex or maybe it was CryptoWall. One of them, the first thing they did was just completely disable that. So it's not even a factor to help you get your data back, right? And I've seen some new modern threats now that are scrambling the entire disk. So you're not even logging in to Windows. They're scrambling the master boot record. So the first thing you're seeing at boot up is that you can't do anything on the box. Now, the upside for those guys, right, is they're completely locking you out. The downside for you is even if you're willing to pay the ransom, they can't always descramble your box. So even if you're willing to pay up, you may not get your data back, right? So that's where we need to make sure we're taking protection to the next level. Anything that gets identified here, right, and cleaned, then you're going to be able to go to this root cause analysis section, and you'll actually be able to see what happened to your machine, and then every device that you have touched, and then every device that those devices have touched. And it gives you a really nice spider map for really going out and doing that root cause analysis and make sure that you've gotten the entire environment cleaned. Another area where I think a lot of folks miss it, they see that their security product cleans something up. What they don't see is where it spread to. They also don't necessarily always see it stopped it. Did it stop it after the payload was delivered or before the payload was delivered? Right, so this is going to help you get that visibility and really get your investigation going a lot quicker. And that's definitely something we can help you out with. All right, that pretty much, I mean, we can get a little bit deeper into this. We're at the bottom of the hour. Didn't really talk about server protection.
But you got a couple more minutes. It's 25 after, Pete.
Oh, okay. Well, let's drill into the servers then just real quick, because there's a lot of cool things here that I really like. Let me go back to the policies for a sec. And we're going to go into servers, and I'm just going to come into my base policy here. So a couple things that Sophos has added that I found to be really interesting. Server lockdown, prevent anything else from getting installed on that server, right? So now this will include patches. So when we're going to patch, we want to take the lockdown out, and then we want to apply our patches, and then we want to put it back into lockdown. And that's going to prevent any malicious code from getting installed on that thing. Peripheral control, so block all of those things. Even though you've got your server room shut up tight, this is still going to add a layer of protection. Application control, pretty standard, obviously. One of the things that I found really just to be pretty interesting is web control for the server. And what we have always said, and every client that I've ever said it to 100% agreed, you should not be browsing the internet from the server, right? Nobody's ever taken issue with that. But then what we do is as soon as we have an issue, or we're missing an update, or we're trying to figure out why something's not running, we're going to the web right from that server that we're troubleshooting on, right? And so now we've got an additional layer of protection that really is a requirement on the servers as well. And does this mean that now it's okay to browse the web from servers? No, obviously not. But let's be honest, a lot of us, including myself, are doing it. So let's get some additional protections on there so that we're protecting as much as we can. And you can see I've got this set up in just a straight up 100% block mode. If we go down to the threat protection, we've got some basic stuff. Now, Intercept X is not available on the servers yet. It's coming out in December. For anybody that's running the server advanced, which then includes the lockdown and the application control and the web control, they're going to get that Intercept X added into that capability as a part of their maintenance and as a part of their package. So be on the lookout for that. Pretty easy to set up the server protection. The baseline policies or the defaults are very solid right out of the gate. If you're running the advanced product, having the detect network traffic to command and control servers, very, very valuable. Now, the next step is implement a Sophos UTM, enable the security heartbeat, and now the endpoints, including the server protection, is communicating with the gateway. And when you see command and control code at the gateway, it's going to be able to communicate with the endpoint, find out what application is originating that code, even though it hasn't downloaded any malware yet, it hasn't downloaded the backdoor dropper or the payload or whatever it might be that's going to happen. It's going to know that this is what's coming, so let's kill it before it even has a chance to start the attack, basically. Right, very easy to set that up. Now there's a lot of things with the UTM that you're going to want to configure and enable, and that's something that our tech folks can help you get rolling. But enabling the heartbeat is really just entering the code from your firewall into the Sophos Central, and you're rolling. And very straightforward and very easy to set up. Got some global exclusions here that I'm calling from the master list, so it gives me a lot of capabilities. To set that up, I just go to System Settings, and here's where I can control my role-based management. So you can see I'm the super admin, right? So I can do a lot of stuff, and then I've got some other settings that I can give my other folks. A lot of enhancements coming out in the near future with role-based access, including the ability to really delegate sub-estates and some of that stuff. And Todd, you sent that information out yesterday. I didn't catch the date. Do you recall when that was coming out?
For the role-based access control?
Yeah.
Some of that stuff is just out or out in the next few weeks, that first phase, that first chunk that I gave you.
So on the way, right? Yeah. Lots of reporting here. You can start merging reports from the UTM and the endpoints to get a little more holistic list. The main thing that I like looking at is this general event log. Typically what I do in here is I pop in, I check everything off, and I just go to the area that I really want to see, and then I start checking on the things that I'm most interested in looking at. So policy noncompliance, for example, I'll do update over here, and now I'm getting the information that I'm interested in seeing. And then from here, now I can start drilling in. That's Todd's backup box. I can start drilling in and just seeing some more details about what's going on. So a lot of ways to move around the console, get the information that you need so that you can make sure you're keeping everybody safe and keeping that protection at a high level. All right.
Absolutely.
Take it away.
You take it away. Why don't we? I have a couple questions here. Has anyone asked about the change from machine-based policies to user-based policies? Seems like I would have to rethink my application of policies.
So let's talk about that real quick. So for servers, the policies are still machine-based. So no matter who logs onto a server, that policy isn't going to change. For the workstations, it is a user-based system. So if I go, now Todd and I are in the same group, but if I go out and log on to Derek or Steve Kruger's machine or one of those guys, the policies are going to change to the admin policy. Those guys log back in, and now there's going to be some additional things that are locked down or that are enforced that were not enforced for me. What I really like about that is from an admin side, right, you go out and you're trying to troubleshoot, you're trying to fix, maybe you're just trying to update whatever it might be, you log on as you, and now you're able to have access to different kinds of applications, you're able to have access to different kinds of websites or this kind of stuff, so you can do the things that you need to do. We can still enter that tamper protection code, so if we're trying to figure out, hey, this works for me, but when he logs in, it's not working for him, is it Sophos, right? We can use that tamper protection code to go in and custom configure their agent on their machine for testing or trial, and I think works out very, very slick. And then the thing that I really like about it, though, is that end user goes to a different machine, his policy follows him, so there is no, I went and got on your machine and now I'm able to do something that I wasn't able to do on my machine. As long as they're logging in as themselves, that protection is going to follow them wherever they go. And then you can have that policy be contained to all of their devices. So they've got a workstation, they've got a laptop, they've got a tablet, they've got a phone. That one policy can follow them no matter which device they're on. So I really like that.
Would you say it is overall a little bit of a, I mean, it's starting to be kind of a paradigm shift of how guys traditionally thought about protecting the endpoint?
Yeah, I think most clients, I'm actually trying to think of a conversation that I've had where somebody was like, we hate that. There have been a few instances where customers have a shared machine, so they want folks to be able to get onto this shared machine and have some different access and policies, and we've helped them develop some nice workarounds so that they could handle that shared machine a little bit differently from the way they're handling the individual employee devices.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not completely stuck with it, but I think most folks, once we show it to them, they really like it.
It's the way everybody's kind of going, and it makes sense given the world we live in and how how threats are evolving and how users are becoming increasingly more mobile, and they're in and out of the physical workspace, right?
And not stuck with one device anymore. I use two laptops at home, or I bring my work laptop home, and I use my big 17-inch laptop if I got to crunch a lot of data, right? And then I've got two tablets and I've got a phone. That's a lot of stuff, and I can check my email from all of them. I can go to my OneDrive from all of them. I can VPN into the office from all of them, right? So it's a lot of stuff. I'm accessing the world from a lot of different places and locations and a lot of different devices, but all the threats are the same, and they're all coming at me. It doesn't matter where I'm logging into them from, right? They're trying to attack me, and because all this stuff is interconnected, in some ways you're making the environment weaker because you're providing all this access. So we really got to up the game.
Yeah. Hey, one last question. This individual has users that have a desktop and a laptop. They allow USB access on the desktop, but not on the laptop. Can you pull that off with the user-based policy? And if you want to take this offline, Pete, let me know. We can follow up.
Yeah. There's some things you could do. That would be a workaround situation. I guess I'd love to find out a little bit on why they have it set up that way. But I think we could figure out a workaround. But by default, if you put them into a group and that device control was on, it's going to be on for any device that that user logs into.
Yep. So, all right, we'll follow up with you directly on that one with our proposed workaround or proposed solution on that, and hopefully that'll work out for you. For everybody else, thank you so much for coming. We know that you took half an hour out of your day, and you have a lot going on, so we appreciate that. And Pete, thank you for a fantastic presentation. So I am Todd Obert from Productive Corporation along with Pete Greco, wishing you a fantastic balance of your day and week, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Thanks, everybody.